What's up, everyone? Welcome to an opening day edition. Mark, I didn't think we were going to get here. I really didn't.
I didn't either. I'm so happy, man.
I mean,
so happy.
nobody except for us would have started a baseball podcast in the middle of a lockout.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's
just genius level stuff.
When we started it, it wasn't a lockout yet. We were a week away from a lockout.
That's true. We were a week ahead. But welcome, everyone, to the latest episode of What's in the Box Score. I am your host, Rick Wiener, joined as always by the very red Mark Rowlands.
Yeah, it's a shame that, I'm sort of wearing all this for nothing because our two teams were supposed to match up today, and they're not doing that until tomorrow due to the terrible weather across New York State right now and across a lot of the Northeast. But yeah,
and in Minnesota, because
Minnesota, that's
building
right,
an open air stadium in Minnesota was just a brilliant move because the weather's always sunny and warm.
Yeah, maybe they should have considered having a dome there or something,
or a retractable roof at the very least.
Retractable roof, that should be a thing they considered.
Thankfully, I believe it was rain and not snow that they were calling the game, and they called the game 4 before things got started.
Mm-hmm.
But still, just come on, people. A little common sense is all we're looking for here.
Realistically, every stadium in Massachusetts, New York, this entire part of the country should probably be enclosed as well. But...
Yeah, no, absolutely. Or at least, like I said, have some sort of roof that you can open and close. The good news is that your Red Sox and my Yankees can't lose today.
This is true.
The bad news, for depending on where your rooting interest lies, is that the Milwaukee Brewers and Cleveland Guardians, I had to look at the screen because I forget their stupid new name, that they can't win.
Yep.
Is it time to break up the Cubs and the Royals? Are those now the new World Series favorites?
Yeah, I mean, the Cubs winning was kind of surprising. Love that Corbin Burns walked 2 guys in this start in the first 3 innings, and he didn't walk 2 guys until May 15th last year. That's just baseball, and I love it.
Yeah, it kind of makes. I know it's only the first start, and let everyone else overreact to it, but it kind of makes me just go yeah, Corbin Burns wasn't quite as good as everybody thought he was. He's actually kind of a human. He's not really a machine. He's not really in the same breath as DeGrom.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's still a tremendous pitcher. But...
trust me, I'd take him on any staff. I mean, you can find a spot for him. And he's certainly an ace.
Oh,
but
100%.
Yeah, I mean, what he did last year was just absolutely insane.
That was one of my favorite parts of the season last year, was just every single time he started, it was like, hey, guess what? Corbin Burns still hasn't walked a guy.
Yeah, and it was a month into the season.
Yeah, I think it took him 4 starts to walk anybody, and people are like, will Corbin Burns ever issue a free pass? I don't think so.
I mean, yeah, obviously he's going to eventually.
Yeah.
But it's just, speaking of free passes, there was an argument going on in my group chat today because somebody they were trying to place a bet for total bases, and they're like, why don't walks count as a total base? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And so my other buddy writes, he's like, it's because Barry Bonds ruined it for everyone. He's like, we can blame that prick for ruining something else.
There's no way that was Barry Bonds.
That's what I said. I'm like, I think it was Bonds was a little before the time of sportsbooks or offering total base props. But
yeah,
I was like, if you want to blame him, I'm all for it.
It's like the South Park movie with the Blame Canada song.
Right, exactly.
Blame Barry. Blame.
Oh man. Aside from what's going on the field right now, as you can see the scores up on the screen, Royals won, Cubs won, the Cardinals are absolutely destroying the Pirates right now, which comes as no surprise to anyone. But how about Brian Hayes signing an extension with the Pirates today? and lasting all of 1 inning before he had to leave the game.
It's, they haven't inked the extension yet because it was pending a physical, which was scheduled for
Right.
after the game today.
Oh man, he's not even going to be able to sign it.
No, he's not. Which it sucks for him. I love Brian Hayes. I think he's got a chance to be an absolute stud. But the first thing I thought of when I saw that deal, it was 8 years for $70 million. So neither of those sides in the negotiation think Brian Hayes is actually that good. Because if I'm Brian Hayes and I have confidence in myself, I would say, no, you have to give me at least $10 million a year. And if I'm
for sure.
Pirates, I would have offered him more than that to begin with. So, like, it seems like both sides are just like, the Pirates, like, we don't think you're that great, but, the fans like you and you seem like a good guy, so we'll give you this. And Brian Hayes was like, damn, they're right. I'm really not that good. I should probably take this. Like, that's sort of what it seemed like to me. And I do think he's good, but the number was just odd to me. That guy can't get $10 million a year? I mean, come on. He already won a Gold Glove. You muted yourself.
Is it working now?
There we go.
Damn it.
Wait.
Thing. Oh. No?
No, there was music playing. I just had to get rid of ESPN for a second.
Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I'm a Hayes fan too. I mean, I think he's got a chance to be a really, really good player for a long time. That said, it kind of feels like if I'm Hayes, I would have preferred to not sign a long-term extension with them.
I mean, they're going to trade him in a month anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That's just it. Like, he's not going to, I don't see him playing out 7 or 8 years in Pittsburgh.
No.
But even then, like, it still seems to me, it feels to me like you're selling yourself short.
Yeah.
Like, why not just play year to year? Okay, granted, you're not going to get this kind of money through arbitration.
No.
But you get traded, you go work out a long-term deal with a team that has deeper pockets. Yes, It was a record-setting deal for Pittsburgh. Yes, it's exciting and whatnot. And look, if somebody came to me and was just like, listen, we'll give you $70 million over 8 years to move to Pittsburgh, I'm gone. I'm moving to Pittsburgh right now.
Mm-hmm.
Podcast over, I'm out the door. Like, I may not even lock the door on my way out. I may just leave it open in the rain.
Yeah.
Like, take whatever you want. I'm just going to buy all new stuff with this big stack of money. But like, I don't know, man. It doesn't feel like it makes any sense for Hayes.
No, it really doesn't. And the fact that this is a record-breaking deal for the Pirates is ridiculous.
Yeah, that says a lot.
They had Barry Bonds, they had Andrew McCutchen, the talent that the Starling Marte, the talent that this team has had, in the past 30 years is not insignificant. Like, they've had some really good players.
Yeah, and they traded them all away.
And they're just like, they had Glasnow and Jameson Tyone, Garrett Cole, and they just refuse to pay any of them. They won't give each of them one red cent.
You could make a freaking all-star team out of the players that the Pirates have drafted, developed, and then gotten rid of.
Yep.
I mean, easily. A team that would contend for like a World Series title.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and McCutchen, for as old as he is, he looked pretty good today. I believe he
looked great.
3.
Yeah. Didn't hustle out of the box on his double in his first at bat because everyone and their sister thought that ball was going foul.
Yeah.
And it somehow didn't. I don't know if it was the way the wind was blowing at Wrigley
because the wind was blowing out. It was supposed to be blowing out to center at like 18 miles an hour. And then it it just started swirling.
But yeah, I believe both of his hits were the other way. The double was for sure, and I believe he had a single to the left center field gap.
Pretty sure you're
or right center field gap. So he looked good. The timing looked good. He looks great in that Brewers uniform, which I didn't expect. Like, I love that the Brewers went back to the MB logo on the hat, and like I think they've got some really strong uniforms now. But as soon as I saw him in that uniform, I was like, oh, this is gonna look weird. Another NL Central team. Like, I'm still not used to him not having dreads and wearing a Pirates uniform. So I was like, this is gonna look weird. But as soon as I saw him, I was like, no, he kind of fits in that uniform. It actually weirdly works.
Yeah, it does work. It does work. And I part of me feels like the reason I think it works is because Lorenzo Cain was there last year. And for whatever reason, like I've always kind of grouped those two guys together. There were different levels of players. Like Cain was always really good. He was never McCutcheon.
Yeah, Kutch was a superstar.
Yeah, people forget that Kutch was an absolute beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, until he started to get hurt. But I mean, he was an MVP. You know, I mean, for a couple of years, he was arguably the best player in baseball.
Yeah.
You know, Cain was never quite that level, but he was always like a notch below Kutch.
I can see where the comparison, you know, just insanely athletic, good defensive center fielders. They can run, they can hit for power, just like really, really solid all-around players.
And guys who are like beloved in the clubhouse.
Yeah, and everyone loves them. I've never heard a bad word about either of them.
No, exactly. And those guys are rare.
Yeah.
Go ask Ronald Acuna what he thinks of Freddie Freeman. Apparently, that's not the question to ask.
I could not believe that.
I read that and I was just like, wait a minute. Are we talking about the same guy? Because up until now, like, you never hear anything about Freddie Freeman.
No, he's everyone's baseball dad. It's like, yeah, that's my baseball dad, Freddie Freeman. And I could not believe that. Just straight up said, nah, I'm not going to miss him. Didn't really like the guy.
Yeah.
Like, whoa. And Freeman went on MLB Network today.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, and he was asked about it. Let me see if I can get the quote.
Yeah, see, I missed that.
And Freddie.
But yeah, I mean, Freddie Freeman he never struck me as a guy that would be a jerk. Like, I get, you know, you're a young player coming up. Like, yeah, you're going to get, you know, guys are going to bust your chops.
Here's the quote.
Okay.
When you put on a Braves uniform in that organization, there's organizational rules. You don't cover the A with sunglasses. You don't wear earrings. You have your hair a certain length. You wear a uniform out during BP. You don't have eye black coming down across your whole face. Those are just organizational things. So I guess one of the older guys that did have to enforce those kinds of rules in the clubhouse, or I guess I was one of the older guys. But when you put on a Braves uniform, those are the kind of thing, or those are kind of what happens. This is whoever transcribed this did a terrible job.
Yeah, I was going to say, seriously.
I didn't view it as any friction or clashes or anything like that. I love Ronald. I still love Ronald. I'm going to miss Ronald. My family is going to miss Ronald. So basically what he said was everything Ronald Acuna said is true, but I still love the guy.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, he addressed it and kind of was just like, it's a big nothing to me at least. But yeah, hey, I mean, I guess this is part of, you know, the clubhouses go through kind of generational changes. And like, this might have been the way it was done, Freddie. But Acuna and Albies and Riley, it's their team now. And they're going to set the rules and the tone for how they want things to be. So part of me wonders, and I mean, there's no way we'll ever know this, but part of me wonders if the Braves knew that there was something there between Acuna or, like, you know, the younger guys and Freeman. And that's why before Freeman even made the decision, they went out and traded for Matt Olson.
Yeah.
You know, why they never really seemed to get serious about a contract extension. Yeah, like, it's just, I think it's fair to wonder if, like, this was part of the reason that the Braves were just like, yeah, okay, like, if you want to be like super reasonable, Freddie, like, you can come back, but, you know, if you're looking for market value, you're gonna have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, this team belongs to the young guys now.
Yeah,
you know, and is, you know, as much as we love to sit here and say, oh, Freddie Freeman's your franchise player, you can't let a guy go like that, you know, all that stuff, it happens.
Yeah, you know, and one thing I think we all forget is that there's a whole lot of other stuff that goes into being a baseball player, and being the leader of a team, than the on-field stuff.
Yeah, I saw someone, I can't think of who sent the tweet, and I'm sorry, but someone was like, this just shows us how little we really know about what happens in a major league locker room.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just, I mean, everyone sits here and says, oh, Freddie Freeman, who doesn't love that guy? Apparently some of his teammates.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's there's a lot that goes into it. You know, it's just it's not as cut and dry as everybody wants to make it to be.
Which I guess it all stems from like one interaction they had when Acuna was a rookie that he still sort of holds against him 3 years later, which is a little weird. It was like he didn't hustle out of the box and hit one off the wall and it only ended up being a single, which if you're a guy that's as fast as Ronald Acuna is, even if you don't hustle out of the box and you don't turn that into a double, that is a problem.
Right.
If you hit one off the wall, because then you not only didn't run out of the box, you then just jogged to first base. But it was one of those things. He was like, oh yeah, I thought it was gone. And Freddie's like, that's great. Hustle.
Yeah, like, but like, stuff like that, I don't have a problem with because
I don't have a problem with
that starts to become a bad habit. If you do it once and it's not, it doesn't get called out, then why wouldn't you do it again? Like if you can get away with it, you're just going to keep doing it.
We've seen plenty of guys that, Manny Machado is another one that a lot of times doesn't hustle out of the box, and he's never really had anyone to call him out for it. And that's why a lot of people, myself included, that's part of why I don't like Manny Machado, because I'm like, it always looks like he's trying to show people up. And if
that's fair.
I have no problem not hustling out of the box if it's 20 rows deep. If you know for a fact that you hit that one out, flip your bat, watch it, walk to first base for all I care. I don't give a shit. But if it's close, you should hustle.
Or at the very least, you should hustle until you're damn sure that it's gone.
Yeah.
And then let up.
Yeah. And like I said, there are certain guys, like when Vladimir Guerrero Jr., really gets a hold of one, he knows it's going to be out.
Yeah, as
soon as it hits the bat.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, this is a home run. I don't have to worry. Those, whatever. Do whatever you want. Throw your bat 80 feet in the air if you want to. I could not care less. I think it's great. But yeah, I guess call me old school, call me whatever. But yeah, I think you should hustle out of the box if you're not 150% sure that that's in the second deck.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like if you're Vlad, or if you're Aaron Judge, or if you're Rafael Devers, any of these guys that are, they're known for their power. Like the ball makes a different sound. When it's gone.
Yeah.
You don't even have to look. You just hear it off the bat and you know where it's going. It's going 17 rows that way. Or if it stays in the stadium at all in some of the cases. But it's just it's not the way that I think anyone expected the last kind of chapter of Freddie Freeman's Braves career to end. And it's unfortunate.
Yeah,
but
it is.
It is what it is. Freeman's with arguably the best team in baseball. Acuna is still the face of a franchise. And they're both going to be fine. I don't think this is going to impact either one of them moving forward.
No, I don't.
And who knows? Maybe this kind of galvanizes that Braves clubhouse a little bit. Maybe the younger guys kind of say, all right, this is really our team now. Ronald threw it all out there, so we can't hide from this.
Yeah.
We better figure out how we're going to be dealing with this kind of stuff all year long. Because people are going to ask questions.
Oh man, this story's never going to die.
Yeah,
that's the one thing about baseball reporters is they don't let shit like this die.
No, and like the first time that they lose 2 or 3 in a row, like, hey, do you guys miss a veteran?
Yeah, you miss Freddie Freeman yet?
In the clubhouse. And okay, somebody just hit the top of the wall in St. Louis. Who was that? I don't know. I think St. Louis just hit another home run.
Oh boy, it's getting ugly.
It's getting reviewed. They've gone to the replay, but in any event, this isn't all the news. We had Jose Ramirez. That was another surprise. He signed a mega deal with Cleveland, but an undermarket mega deal, I think.
Yeah, and I can't believe they're spending that much money. I mean, is which Dolan owns the Guardians again?
That was Paul Dolan, and that was noted power hitter Tommy Edman with a home run for the St. Louis Cardinals, who now lead the Pirates 6-0 in the bottom of the 8th.
It's getting ugly in St. Louis.
Yeah,
I had the Cardinals to score in the first inning at plus 200, so cha-ching.
There you go.
That was any baseball bettors out there. That was an absolute wagon last year. The opposing team to score in the first inning against the Pirates hit like 68% of the time. It was
really
wild.
Wow. Wow. So well, if you bet on baseball, folks, make sure to remember that for
there's
tomorrow.
A little something to look out for.
Because I'm pretty sure they do this again tomorrow.
Yeah, it got to the point where sometimes it was like minus 150 for the other team to score in the first inning.
Oh wow. Oh wow. Even then, that's not bad juice. It's
not. It's not that bad, but for it to be that big of a favorite, it's like like I said, I got it at plus 200 today. That's normally what you would expect to see for something like that.
That is great. That's weird. I just heard a phone ring, and my phone's not ringing. Maybe I'm losing my mind here, Mark. This may be the end.
There's some weird shit going on in your apartment today, man. The
leaks are happening I got in the wrong place. Over there. I'm sitting like 2 inches in front of my freaking TV.
It's kind of funny.
It's the only place I could put the laptop.
You can kind of see like the reflection of the TV, like your
I'm
skin
sure.
is like changing color.
I'm sure this is a complete shit show for anyone watching. Like the lighting's not right. I don't have my normal camera.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just a mess because it's leaking over my other computer where I actually do everything. Even though when it does leak, it's almost always right here.
At some point during this podcast, you're just gonna feel a drip on your head. God damn it!
Oh no! You'll see it because it will drip down the TV and right onto the camera on the laptop. You'll be like, shit! What happened?
It was like, did you see the video at the Royals game today where they had to wipe off the camera like mid at bat?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah, it's totally gonna be like that. Or you may just see me run out of here and like with a garbage bag over my head, trying to stay dry.
Anyway, Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, we were talking about J Ram. I mean, it's a great deal for Cleveland.
Yeah.
I believe that they have a new guy becoming the majority owner in a year or two. I believe there was a deal that Dolan struck. I'm blocking on the guy's name, but I mean, I'd have to think he was the one that was just like, listen, I'm taking over the team. You got to give me something.
Yeah.
Like you can't leave me with zero talent on this roster.
Franmil Reyes and nothing else.
Yes, exactly. And look, I like Franmil just as much as everyone else. I mean, he's fun to watch. He's a great power hitter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's another one of those guys that like he gets a hold of it, he knows it's gone.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're not worried about him busting his ass out of the box because the ball's going to be in the air for quite a while.
Yeah.
But like I just don't get it for Ramirez unless he really loves Cleveland.
I guess he does.
Is that possible?
Yeah, I mean maybe.
And I see I just turned yellow.
No, but you know, sometimes there are guys that just. Does he have a kid? Does J Ram have a kid? Do we know?
I don't know.
You know, sometimes it's like, you know, I'm just putting my kid in school. I don't want to move him. Like something that is a very legitimate reasoning. I remember.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. You know, and it kind of plays back to what we were talking about earlier. You know, that there's things that go on that people just don't think of.
I remember in the NFL earlier this offseason, it was J.D. McKissick for the Washington Commanders now. The running back, he had a deal in place with the Bills, and then the Commanders just matched the deal. They didn't give him any more money. There were no more incentives. It was the exact same deal, and he just took it with Washington because he didn't want to move. You know, and that's the only legitimate reason I can think of to choose Washington over the Bills right now.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
But it was just like, I don't feel like moving.
Oh boy,
it's a hassle.
Boy.
So
it's getting out of control in St. Louis.
More?
Nolan Arenado.
Oh no.
It's 9-0.
I'm seeing that now.
It's
Oh, boy.
9-0. Boy, oh boy.
Who
But
was
yeah,
his
and
leading
actually,
scorer for
it
the
kind of
Pirates?
recently just happened in the NFL with Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
Seattle released him. Baltimore made him a substantial offer. The
Mhm.
Rams made him a lesser offer. And he was just like, you know what? He's like, I'm from LA. I want to stay close to home, close to my family.
Mhm.
Like, I have to move anyway because I'm not in Seattle anymore. I'm staying on the West Coast.
Yeah, I mean, and that's that's a legitimate thing, and a lot of guys do that. So
Mhm.
good for J Ram for staying in Cleveland. I mean, he's absolutely beloved in that town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like
Oh, for sure.
somehow still grossly underrated as well. Like,
Because of where he plays,
yeah,
unfortunately.
but I mean, the guy is he's the best third baseman in baseball, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Like I did a fantasy draft this past Sunday. He was my first round pick with like the 5th pick.
Oh, I did the same thing. He was my first round pick, 4th overall.
Yeah, like so the guy he's very good. The power is unreal for a guy built like he is.
Power and the speed.
The power and the speed. He's a legitimate 30-20 threat.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very good defensive third baseman. I mean, the guy is just he's a stud, and good for him for staying in Cleveland. It gives those fans something to look forward to over the next few years, because outside of that, there isn't much. It's like whenever Shane Bieber pitches, and you get to see Jose Ramirez, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, really, there's not a lot to get unless Yu Chang, gets you, and Ernie
Yeah.
Clement gets you all sorts of fired up.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ernie Clement gets one of the former beat writers for the Indians all sorts of excited because that's all he says on his Twitter is talking about Ernie Clement and how great he's going to be.
Really?
I don't get it, man. Don't get it. I see it and I'm just like, huh?
Let me tell you, screw Bobby Witt Jr., the best prospect in the AL Central.
I'm fully expecting him to mount the campaign. Like, if the guy does anything this year, fully expecting him to be like, I'm president of the Ernie Clement for MVP committee.
That's what a weird bandwagon to hop.
Yeah, it was very, very strange play to hit your wagon to. No, I was just looking to see exactly how many 30-20 seasons Ramirez had. He's got a 30-30. He's got a 20-20, and then he did 30-20 last year.
Yeah, so I mean, guys got the pedigree. I mean, 30-30. There aren't many guys in baseball nowadays that can do that. A lot of it's because of their speed, power combination, but just no one steals bases anymore.
Yeah, it's a lost art. It's like bunting. You just don't see it. And I don't know why, because these guys are certainly fast enough, and most of the catchers are not good enough. Or the pitchers just don't even pay attention. They just ignore the guy at first base.
I don't know how much of the Brewers-Cubs game you watched.
I only saw a little bit of it.
There were like 4 stolen base attempts in that game. I was amazed. I was like, these guys are running wild.
Both teams were running, or just one?
Yeah, both teams.
Okay. Because I know the Cubs like to run because, I mean, they're just not good, and it's a way to manufacture runs.
Hey, I don't know, man. They're on pace for 162 wins.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, forget about the old core. It's the new core of Nico Horner and
Nick Madrigal.
Yeah. People laugh at Nick Madrigal. They forget that he was a legitimate prospect on the other side of
Nick
Chicago.
Madrigal. But I think it's hilarious that Nico Horner and Nick Madrigal are the exact same player.
Yeah, they kind of are.
They're the same really baseball player. They're going to hit 300. They're going to hit 6 home runs. And they're going to steal 20 bases while walking like 40 times a year.
Yeah, sounds about right. Sounds right. Did you get a chance to see any of Seiya Suzuki's at-bats?
Yeah, I saw a couple of Suzuki's at bats. I
saw one at bat where he wound up drawing a walk. But
yeah, man, I wasn't sure what the reception was going to be like. Like, obviously, the guy's a stud in Japan, but for the most part, a lot of these, Japanese Asian imports don't come in with too much hype. It was like when Ichiro first showed up in Seattle. I mean,
Well, for a while there was a lot of hype around these guys.
yeah, but like in recent years, it's been like, okay, well, let's see how he is before we freak out.
Yeah, because we haven't had that.
Yeah.
Most guys haven't had that kind of success,
But his
particularly on the hitting side.
But when he walked up to the plate, I mean, you would have thought Ernie Banks was walking up to the plate the way that crowd
really
reacted.
Wow.
Oh my, standing ovation, like wild applause. And good for him. I think Seiya Suzuki has a chance to be really good. He was an absolute monster in Japan.
Yeah,
but
he was a beast in Japan.
I was just kind of surprised. I was like, this is a very, very warm welcome from Cubs fans. And I'm not super plugged into how Cubs fans are on social media. They're one of the teams that I don't really know many Cubs fans. But so I wasn't sure what, how they felt about the signing. But I guess Cubs fans fucking love the guy and they're excited to watch him play right field every day. So good for him, good for the Cubs. It gives them something to be excited about.
Yeah, I mean the few Cubs fans that I know were very excited to have him.
Were they?
I think it was more like, holy shit, we actually did something.
Yeah.
More than like, oh wow, this guy's gonna be great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a difference because I mean Cubs fans were pretty desperate there for a while.
Oh yeah.
I mean, a guy I used to write with, he's a huge Cubs fan, and he sent me a message on Twitter after they signed Stroman, and he's like, you saw that, right? He's like, I'm not misreading it. He's like, we really signed Marcus Stroman. I'm like, yeah, you guys got Stroman. I'm like, you're gonna love Stroman.
Yeah, I mean, I love Stroman, but freaking out over a 3-year, $60 million deal or whatever it was.
Well, because they were figuring that it was going to be another austerity season for them.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was min-priced players and over-the-hill vets.
Yeah, and it was like, when are we trading Contreras?
Yeah, exactly. Like that was the other shoe that was waiting to drop. Like, all right,
mm-hmm.
the one player we have to get excited about, he's going to get traded.
Yeah,
and like I know Kyle Hendricks is beloved, but Kyle Hendricks isn't exactly a crowd pumper-upper.
No, he's an absolute nerd. He looks like a Cubs fan. Like,
yeah, that's good.
He looks like a Cubs fan that shows up to the game in a full uniform. Like when I was watching him, because I love Kyle Hendricks. I love watching him pitch. I think it's great. That's the type of pitcher I love that throws 85 miles an hour and you just can't touch it. And he looked great today for a lot of that start. His changeup was nasty.
Yeah, I know he struck out a bunch of guys. I saw that.
Yeah, he had, I believe it was tied for like the second most whiffs in his career today with 17.
Wow.
They couldn't touch his changeup. I'll get Pitching Ninja had a couple videos of his changeup.
Yeah, and I know we say it every episode, but I'll say it again. If you're not following Pitching Ninja, you're an idiot.
Yeah. Here we go. Like that's Pedro Martinez changeup. Like that.
That's filthy.
Yeah.
That is absolutely filthy.
He actually threw that more than his sinker today, which I was surprised by because he usually lives and dies by that sinker.
There you go with what's working.
Yeah. But so he looked great, and I would love to have him. Man, if the Red Sox traded for Kyle Hendricks right now, I'd be the happiest person on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Red Sox haven't played yet, but the Red Sox, they need another like 4 arms. 1 for the rotation and 3 for the bullpen.
If they traded for him right now, I would ask if he could start tomorrow. Like as much as I love Nathan Eovaldi, it's like can Kyle Hendricks throw again?
I have a love-hate thing with Eovaldi because of what he was with the Yankees, which was not what he is with the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Granted, he was coming off an injury, but still, I'm a Yankee fan, and I have unreasonable expectations. Speaking of the Red Sox and unreasonable expectations,
I knew you were going to do it to me.
Are you shocked by the Xander Bogaerts not being happy news.
It's not even just him, it's Devers too. It's both of them. That's what pisses me off the most. Is they're not just lowballing one franchise player, they're lowballing two.
Yeah, but the rumor is that the lowball, obviously it's the art of negotiation.
Yeah.
You start low, but apparently they will be willing to get a deal done with Devers. Xander, I think they're more happy to let walk away if he won't take the deal that they want him to take.
I'm not surprised.
No.
We saw it with John Lester. We saw it with Mookie Betts, which I think they offered both of them like the same deal. But so as a Red Sox fan, I've seen this in recent years that despite the fact we're the third most valuable team in baseball, we refuse to spend money because we love to play poor.
He's got to spend that money on his football team, right? Doesn't he own a soccer team or something?
Yeah, he owns Liverpool, I think.
Yeah, well.
But and LeBron James is a co-owner now of the Red Sox, which every time I think about that, it makes me want to puke.
Like if I didn't need another reason to dislike the Red Sox, you go and find my most disliked NBA player in the history of NBA players.
Well, he's number 2 for me. Kobe's number 1.
You ruined Space Jam. How do you ruin Space Jam? LeBron, you are a special kind of talent.
I love the first Space, like I love original Space Jam so much. Like one of my favorite movies as a kid, and I still watch it like 2 or 3 times a year. Watching that new Space Jam, there was one good joke.
And I refused to watch it.
There was one good joke, and it was a joke that before I saw the movie, I would have told you that joke was in the movie.
It was that original, huh?
It was, I believe it was Daffy was like, "Hey guys, guess what? We got Michael Jordan back." And they're like, "Whoa, really? We got Michael Jordan?" It was Michael B. Jordan, because of course it was. It's the easiest joke to write in the history of joke writing. And that was the only good joke, but it was also the most anticipated joke in the history of movies.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is a baseball podcast, and you do an entertainment thing.
Yeah.
So I'll save your rant on Space Jam Part 2 for that one. But I will say, let this be a message to Hollywood: stop remaking classic movies because you can't do it, and they don't come out well. Look at Space Jam. Look at the absolute dumpster fire that was supposed to be Point Break.
I mean, no, not the Point Break remake.
There are a few movies that make me angry. That movie being in existence makes me angry. Like, you ever see the Family Guy episode where Peter winds up stealing Passion of the Christ Part 2?
Yes.
Like, if I knew that they were remaking Point Break, I would have climbed in the nose of a dead president on Mount Rushmore and risked my life to spare the world from that monstrosity.
Yeah,
if you told me that ridiculous. The remake of Point Break was responsible for the deaths of millions of people, I believe you.
Point Break remake is the true origin of the COVID-19 virus.
Exactly. Let's make this iconic movie without one of the main stars because he's dead.
Yeah, I agree. That's egregious. But back to the Red Sox.
No, because now it's ruined for me because it's your fault. All I can think about is that fucking remake. I'm gonna take this laptop and go stand in the dripping water. It'll end my suffering far sooner than this podcast is gonna be over.
That's like when the Eagles released Fletcher Cox. They ended up re-signing him anyway, but as soon as I saw the report they released him, I tweeted out with the gif of Bill Murray in Groundhog Day putting the toast in the toaster and then picking it up while he's in the bathtub. But I do actually want to say on the Red Sox, I'm not surprised if I want it to be Devers.
It has to be Devers.
It has to be Devers. As much as I love Bogey, and He's done so much for this organization, and he's the last surviving member of the 2013 team, which is wild.
That is wild. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he's the last guy on the team that was there in 2013. Or no, Brandon Workman is back as well. So he left and came back.
I didn't even realize he was still playing.
Yeah, but he left and came back, so I don't count that. He's the last one that's been on the team ever since 2013. Right. And is, I hope number 2 will be retired by the Red Sox someday, because I think that's the sort of impact that Xander Bogaerts has had on the organization. But it has to be Devers. He's better. He's younger. He's a legitimate MVP candidate going into this year, in my opinion. When MLB put him on the graphic, it was like, who will win American League MVP? And Rafael Devers was in the background. My heart stopped. I was so happy. But in a perfect world, God, I would love to give them both 7-year contracts and just for $300 million and just say, please never wear another uniform ever again. For the love of God, don't go anywhere. But it has to be Devers. So I will be able to come to terms if Bogaerts leaves. If they mess up the Devers situation, I really don't know how I'll react.
Yeah, no, they absolutely cannot afford to mess up Devers. I mean, and we talked about the possibility of Xander leaving when they signed Trevor Story.
Yeah, and that's why I'd be able to come to terms with it. Is okay, we got a guy to play shortstop. Like it's not a position we have to worry about right now. Yeah, the replacement's there. He's playing second base, and we know he's a great defender at short, so we can just move him back over and everything will be fine. And then we can figure out second base between maybe Tristan Cassis or Bobby Dahlbeck or, whoever can play second base. But
along the lines of what you were saying, that they can't afford to screw this up. They can actually afford both.
Yeah.
Because they've got JD Martinez coming off the books.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Eovaldi comes off the books after this season.
Yes.
And there was one other guy who was making significant money that was coming out.
It's not Sale. I think Sale's got one more.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Sale. I forget who. But in any event, they have some money coming off the books.
Mm-hmm.
So they could certainly find a creative way to work extensions for both of them.
Absolutely. And, right now, the Red Sox have really good talent coming up. Tristan Cassis is going to be an absolute star. I drafted him in fantasy baseball this year because I think it'll be much sooner rather than later that he's at Fenway.
You think he's going to be up?
I think
soon?
Next month he'll be playing at Fenway. He had a ball the other way yesterday, 108 miles an hour off the bat for a home run. Yeah. Like, the guy is ready. It's just we don't know what to do with him right now. But we'll see how Dahlbeck is, and then if he's, more first half Bobby Dahlbeck than second half Bobby Dahlbeck from last year, then Cassis will come up and split time with him at first. Marcelo Meyer, I think, is going to be a quick riser.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think Meyer's going to be very good.
The hit tool is already so impressive. Even just the few at-bats he had in spring training were professional at-bats. Like, mm-hmm. You can just tell that guy's got a hit tool. Same with Nick York. I think Nick York is going to be a pretty quick riser as well, just because of the hit tool. I want Blaze Jordan on this team as quickly as possible, strictly for his name. So there is a lot of young talent coming up that will be cheap for a few years. And with all this money coming off the books, yeah, you can pay both of them and Story and give Eovaldi another contract and then just figure the rest out. And I still think it'll be a great lineup.
At the very least, it's not going to be a pushover lineup.
No,
you're still going to win some games.
The potential for that lineup in 3-4 years, with even once you lose JD, right, and once you lose some of these guys, the potential for that lineup in 3-4 years is still has the potential to be the best lineup in baseball.
No, absolutely, absolutely, because it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the teams that we say, oh well, like the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Well, maybe not so much Toronto because I think those guys are all controllable for a
Mm-hmm.
while. But you got these teams that have high priced guys. The Yankees, are another one, and it's like their deals are coming up. You
Mm-hmm.
got to figure them out, and the Yankees seem averse to spending a lot of money all of a sudden. They say they want to keep Judge. Do they?
That's such a weird situation.
Look, I get it with Judge. I mean, and I love Aaron Judge. He's going to be 30, or he is 30.
There's no way he's 30 yet.
Yeah, he's in his age 30 season for sure.
No shot.
He's either in it or it's next year.
Oh my God. He's 30?
Yeah.
I'm old, man.
now, granted, like he's not a speed guy. He does have speed. Some. I mean, he's
he
not
can run
slow.
A little
bit. For a guy his size, he's got plenty of speed.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy his size, he's basically Ricky Henderson.
Right, but when you've got Giancarlo Stanton locked into that DH spot for like the next 5 years, do you really want to give a deal bigger than what Stanton got to Judge, who probably is going to need to fill that spot in 5 years?
I can't believe he turns 30 in 19 days. That's unbelievable.
It's wild, man. Because it feels like he's still super young.
How is he the same age as Mike Trout?
Yeah.
Mike Trout. Okay, so he's a year younger than Mike Trout. Mike Trout came up in 2011.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts. But it's going to be interesting to see how these teams try to put their teams together starting next year. Mm-hmm. We have to get through this season, of course, and we are only not even a full day in.
No.
So lots of time between now and then before people need to start freaking out about the fact that these players might be walking out the door. So breathe, Mark. Xander's not gone yet. He's still in Boston.
I am going to cherish this season of Xander Bogaerts because I am starting to believe it is the last one we'll see of him in a Red Sox uniform.
Yeah, I think so.
So I am absolutely going to cherish watching him this year. And one last ride for the X Factor.
The X Factor.
Okay. And that's what I started calling him as soon as he came up. That's always been my nickname for him, is the X Factor.
Oh boy, the X Factor. Guys, I mean, it's Boston. You need better nicknames than X Factor.
I was 13. Give me a break.
You know what you will be able to cherish, at least for this year, will be Rafael Devers beating up on mediocre right-handed pitchers like Chris Paddock, who got traded to Minnesota in a trade that I think has both of us kind of scratching our heads going, huh?
No idea what this trade is about.
I don't understand it. And we both thought that maybe it was because the primary guys involved were Chris Paddock going to Minnesota, their closer, Taylor Rogers, going to San Diego.
Yeah.
It makes sense for San Diego, I think, because they didn't really have a closer.
No, but they also traded one of their better relievers in the deal.
Yeah, which makes it even all the more head-scratching.
Emilio Pagan's pretty good. And so it was Paddock and Pagan for Taylor Rogers and Brent Rooker, the outfielder.
Who's like a corner outfield, first base kind of guy.
Yeah. He's played 65 games in his career. I'm pretty sure those were all last year. And he had 10 home runs.
That's it, because Brent Rooker just feels like a name that I've been hearing for a long time.
I think he's 27 now. I think he was a pretty big prospect at one point.
Yeah, that might have been it.
And
see, you just said, oh wow, he's 27.
Yeah.
It gets crazy because we think, especially with half seasons and late starts, we pretend that these guys don't get older, but they do.
I thought Judge was turning 28. So.
Yeah, no, Judge is.
The fact that he's 30 is crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm higher on Chris Paddock than you are. I think Chris Paddock has really good stuff. He's just got to learn to rein it in a little bit. I
I
think
know
he could.
I like his stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's been 3 years because I got into this argument with someone on Twitter
Mhm,
when the rumor was that he was going to go to the Mets for in a deal for Dominic Smith.
mhm.
And I was just like, look, I'm like, Dom fell out of the Mets plans. They clearly don't have a spot for him, and Paddock can eat some innings. And the
Yeah,
guy's just like, yeah, Paddock was good 3 years ago. I'd be excited. And I'm like, it's kind of a fair point.
yeah. I think he's one of those guys that if he went to like the Giants or one of those or the Rays or one of those organizations that just are pitching gurus, and he had like a 2.5 ERA, I wouldn't be that surprised. I think he just needs a little bit of direction. So we'll see what the Twins can do with him. But notoriously, that Twins pitching staff since Johan Santana and Francisco Lindor has been terrible. So I don't think this was the right organization for him to go to if you're like me and on the Chris Paddock is good train. But
Yeah.
and originally Will Myers was supposed to be like part of this deal too.
Well, they've been trying to move Myers for a while because of his contract.
Get him in Boston, please. I want Will Myers so bad. That swing in Fenway Park would be chef's kiss.
Yeah, he really is tailor-made for Fenway.
And it would just help the outfield so much. But I just don't get it.
Yeah, but here's the thing with him going to the Red Sox, right? Like it plays back into what we were just talking about. They don't want to pay Xander. They don't know if they're going to pay Devers, and they're going to take on Will Myers' deal.
Myers' contract isn't that bad, I don't think.
I got to pull it up because I remember at the very least when they were, I think it was last season, there was a bunch of chatter that they wanted to move his deal. They wanted to move him because his contract. Where is San Diego's?
He's
payroll?
owed $20 million this year. And 22.5 million this year, and then 20 million next year.
Okay, it's not terrible, but still, I mean, it's $40 million.
Yeah, I mean, it's not chump change, but it's not, it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible, but it's not Trent Grisham either.
Yeah,
it's significant money. Not every team is in a position to add $20 million to their payroll this season.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of teams aren't exactly looking to add another $20 million for next year.
Yeah.
So, it depends on what they would want to get back for him, but it's just an odd trade. I don't entirely, like you, don't understand what AJ Preller is doing, but the man he's clearly a mad scientist, and he always finds a way to make things make sense. Even when he trades for Matt Kemp and it doesn't work, and he still survived that. Speaking of older outfielders, did you expect the Angels to dump Justin Upton? Because I didn't see that one coming.
No, that was they did it on a day when he had 2 home runs and 6 RBIs too.
Yeah, he went off, and they were just like, "All right, thanks, Justin. Pack your shit."
They were like, that was your curtain call, pal." The 38 Angels fans that were in Tempe or wherever their spring training facility is, they all got to say goodbye to you. So he's got to get picked up by somebody, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's streaky. He's not the guy that he once was, but he can still help a team.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially with DH in both leagues now, there's got to be some team out there that's like, yeah, right-handed hitter with that much power that we can just throw into the DH spot.
Yeah, I mean, even if I would assume he wants to sign with the contender. But if he doesn't care where he plays and he just wants to play, like Pittsburgh needs to be on the phone with him right now.
Oh yeah,
and just be like, listen, we're not going anywhere. We understand this.
You will play every day.
You'll play every day. Just 1-year deal. We'll try and flip you at the deadline.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get you to a contender if you're playing well enough. But
let's get you on the field. Let's keep you going.
They'll only have to. A team will only have to pay him the minimum.
Yeah, exactly. So I can't imagine he's going to be like, well, you know what, you have to give me a new deal.
Yeah,
I want a new long-term deal. Like he's not, I don't think he's a stupid man.
No.
I think he's fairly realistic. But yeah, it's no Yankees Red Sox puts a little bit of a damper on this day.
Yeah, it does. I was really looking forward to us talking about that. And there aren't even like right now. There's no games going on.
No, because the Mets and Nationals were delayed.
Yeah,
we still don't know when first pitch is going to be. Actually, I think they might have actually just started the game. I couldn't tell you because I can't watch it on TV because it's an ESPN Plus game, and I don't think my laptop can handle StreamYard and ESPN Plus at the same time.
fair.
We've got at 8:00. We've got Reds at Braves, 9:38 Angels at Astros at Angels, and then 9:40 Padres Diamondbacks. It's kind of a meh.
Yeah,
rest of the slate for opening day.
I was thinking about this earlier. Not many good pitching matchups today.
No, and everyone's supposed to be throwing their aces today.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that a few of them are hurt. Like the Mets are throwing Tyler McGill today. Like Scherzer's going to start tomorrow, and DeGrom isn't healthy. So, but usually that's one of the best things about opening day is seeing all these ace pitchers go out there and see if they've got their best stuff. And
now look, I like Tyler McGill.
I believe it's pronounced Tyler. What?
Yeah, because he spells it LOR. So.
Yeah.
I like him. I don't think the Nationals are particularly scary once you get past the heart of that order, or at least the top half. Lane Thomas is okay. Lane Thomas, Juan Soto, Nelson Cruz, Josh Bell. After that, it just falls off. I know you like Carter Keyboom. I know that.
Yeah, I think it's too early to say.
I'm not poo-pooing him as like that he's going to be a terrible player, but I just don't think he's quite where he needs to be yet. That's all.
Yeah, fair.
So I mean, I think the Mets have a shot at that. Reds Braves. We got Tyler Mahle against Max Fried. I'm taking the Braves.
Oh yeah, I've got the Braves minus 180. Just take your money and run. Bet the Braves. I like Tyler Mahle, but the Reds are awful.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Braves are going to be super fired up, especially on the heels of the whole Acuna Freeman thing. Even though Acuna's not playing, I'm sure that guys like Albies are going to be like, listen.
Yeah, but they're getting their rings. They got the gold trim on the uniform. Everything.
Tonight's a big deal for them.
Yeah.
So I don't see any way that they lose that game. Astros are throwing Framber Valdez against the Angels and Shohei. I mean, Shohei's the better pitcher here, but have you seen that Angels lineup? It's kind of yikes.
Yeah, I actually haven't seen the starting lineup.
Oh, here it is. Angels are going Shohei leading off. Mike Trout hitting second. Anthony Rendon hitting third. 1 through 3, scary as hell.
Yeah, great 1 through 3.
Matt Duffy's the cleanup hitter.
Oh no!
Yeah, it kind of falls off after
Matt Duffy is hitting cleanup.
Matt Duffy, Joe
Matt
Adell.
Duffy shouldn't hit cleanup in Double-A.
No. Matt Duffy, Joe Adell, Jared Walsh, Max Stassi, Brandon Marsh, David Fletcher. I mean,
what is this? What is Joe Madden doing? What is this lineup construction?
I mean, if you're Framber, do you even pitch to those first 3? I'd load the bases for Matt Duffy.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Duffy might ground into a triple play.
It's entirely possible. It's not out of the question.
No offense to Matt Duffy, like solid little player. He had a couple of good years with the Giants. He had that one good year with the Rays. Good for you, Matt Duffy, that you're still on a major league squad. But cleanup? That's the guy you want driving in runs?
Like you dropped Justin Upton so you could bat Matt Duffy cleanup.
That's
really
hit Joe Adell cleanup.
Put Walsh cleanup.
Yeah, hit Jared Walsh cleanup.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be good with Max Stassi hitting cleanup. He's not a great catcher, but he's got some pop.
Brandon Marsh has all the potential in the world.
Matt Duffy. Okay, you're not going to bat him ninth because that's where Fletch goes. I get it.
Mhm.
Fletch, perfect 9-hitter.
Or hit Fletch 2.
And drop, you would do Otani, Fletch, and drop Trout and Rendon down?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd be good with that too.
Like, it hit Matt Duffy ninth because he's also the perfect type of 9-hitter because he's the same type of player as David Fletcher, but not quite as good.
Right. Well, I'm thinking Fletch was was a perfect 9-hitter because he has a better chance to get on base, I feel, than Duffy.
Yeah, that's fair.
All you want is him on base for that, for those 3 bashes
Yeah.
to come up.
Um,
Let Otani bring him home. And then in the last game of the night, it's Yu Darvish against Madison Bumgarner.
man,
Probably the best pitching matchup we have out of the games remaining.
5 years ago, that's must-watch television.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the same Bumgarner. I'll
Yeah.
still watch it.
Oh, yeah, I'll be
I
watching
actually
it,
think the Diamondbacks have a little bit of a shot here because you can be really wild.
Yeah,
We've
he's
seen
so hit
you
or
just kind of
miss.
lose it.
Yeah, and it's funny. I remember back when he was with Texas, and there was a stretch of starts when he was just getting rocked. He had like a 7 ERA over 8 straight starts or something like that. And just listening to Dan Plesac go, you throw 99 miles an hour. Stop throwing 92-mile-an-hour cutters down the middle. It's really simple if you're Yu Darvish. But that's the thing. I feel like he tries to get too cute so often because he's like, oh, I can throw 9 pitches. Yeah, only 3 of them are elite. Just try throwing those ones.
Yeah, like it's great that you have 9. You can pull the other 6 out every once in a while when you're just like, wow, these other 3 just aren't working today.
Your fastball has great velocity and elite life on it. He's one of those guys where it looks faster than it is. It moves. Like the slider is insane and the splitter is off the charts.
Yeah,
it's like
the slider
just throw
and splitter.
Those. it feels rather simple, but no, he's like, no, I'm going to throw this cutter. It's like, no, it's not good. Don't throw it.
Right? Yeah, just don't. You're not Mo. You don't have a cutter. Pretend you don't have it.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're throwing it like Emmanuel Clase or Corbin Burns, like just keep it out of the repertoire for the most part. There, it's not your pitch.
Yeah, and the other thing about you is that he doesn't go deep. They don't let him pitch deep.
Well, because he gets into a full count with every single goddamn hitter.
Oh yeah, so no, I'm saying that's why I feel like Arizona has a shot.
Yeah,
to pull an upset tonight.
That Padres bullpen is strange.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like they have 3 closers, but no actual closer.
Yeah. How much do you like Pierce Johnson? Like,
yeah, like I don't know if Rogers is going to be there in time for the game tonight. Look, I don't know exactly what the turnaround on that is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So, yeah, like is that really who they're going to roll out in the 9th inning? Pierce Johnson? Like if that's the case, then they really are in some trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Because who was the other one that they had listed here? Denelson LeMay was their other closer.
He's in the bullpen now?
I think they're trying to, baby him a little bit before they put him back in the rotation. At least the site that I'm looking at, they had him listed as one of 3 closers.
Speaking of pitchers switching roles, did you see that Jordan Hicks is the Cardinals' number 5 starter now?
Oh, yes, I did. And then I watched Dan Plesac, who you just referenced, talk about it for 10 minutes on MLB Network. And I'm with him. I think it makes a lot of sense.
You like it?
I do.
We've mentioned it like 3 straight weeks on this show. I hate turning relievers into starters. It's the dumbest thing imaginable. He's going to last a month and then he's going to blow out his shoulder and his elbow at the same time. But he pitched 10 times last year due to elbow inflammation.
Right.
Do they really think this is a good idea?
But that's exactly the point that Plesac made, and this is why I'm okay with it. He's like, he kept getting hurt in the bullpen. He's like, the bullpen's like the Wild West. Yeah, you only want to throw him like 1 or 2 days in a row, and then you give him time off.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, that may work against him. It may not let him build up that arm, build up that elbow. he said you can control it more if he's the starter. He said you're paying attention to the pitch count.
Yeah.
The catches, especially in St. Louis, like Yachty's gonna bring him along in a way that he's not gonna completely blow out his arm.
If
he can last, I mean, if you have a guy who can throw, and that's the other thing, like if he's a starter, he doesn't always have to throw 104 miles an hour.
Well, that's also part of the thing with me. Like, if you want to throw him 3 innings to start a game, use him as an opener every 5 days just to, try to keep him healthy, fine. I'm fine with that. If you want to make him a full starter, I'm not, because he's got 2 pitches. He's got that ridiculous sinker and a pretty damn good slider. Those are great for an inning. How's that sinker going to hold up in the 4th? When he's throwing it 96 instead of 104, it's still, wow, he's throwing a 96 mile an hour sinker.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden that becomes quite a bit easier to hit when it's 8 miles an hour slower. And what happens?
That's fair.
And the slider is good. The command of it isn't. He has a tendency to hang that slider. So if you're doing that in the 4th inning, when you're not used to going that deep into games, and you hang a slider and all of a sudden it's going 450 feet, I never think switching a reliever to a starter is a good idea. I think we've seen it enough times where it hasn't worked. Unless it's a guy like, like David Price. It's like, oh, he started as the closer on that 08 Rays team. Everyone and their mother knew that David Price was a starter.
Like, exactly. Like they were bringing him up to baby him.
Yeah, he was a starter all throughout his minor league career. He was going to be the ace of that staff. Everyone knew that. They just used him in the bullpen. And then he immediately became a starter the next year, and he turned into David Price, and he won a Cy Young.
Well, I mean, to be fair, they did it with Dakota Hudson. He was a reliever, and they turned him into a starter.
Yeah, and how's that worked out for him so far?
Not great.
There's so many examples of this not working out.
But would you rather have Dakota Hudson and Jordan Hicks or Aaron Brooks and Jake Woodford? Because those are pretty much their only options to fill the.
I would have rather had the Cardinals go out and get more starting pitching.
Well, obviously, but that didn't happen. And they got Flaherty on the shelf. They got Alex Reyes on the shelf. You have no idea when they're coming back.
I don't want them to ruin this guy. And I think this is a great formula to ruin a good young pitcher.
Well, they've done a hell of a job with Alex Reyes. So they can certainly do it with him.
It's just,
I will say the back end of that bullpen is pretty damn good, though.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like keeping Hicks in the bullpen. Well, I get what you're saying. Like, it would have been overkill. You've got Giovanni Gallegos, you've got Genesis Cabrera, you've got Ryan Helsley, got Nick Wickren. Like, those are 4 quality relievers right there.
It's a good bullpen, and that's why I'm fine with him being like use him like the Rays use guys. Throw him for 3 innings, and then have a bullpen game. I'm fine with that if that's the way they're going to do it. But from what I've heard, they want to convert him to a starter.
No, that is what they want to do.
He's got 2 pitches. Only one of them is elite. The changeup is a real work in progress.
I forgot that they had this guy, and this makes me question their thinking. Johan Oviedo, he's not a stud, but he showed enough last year that he can be serviceable.
Yeah, for sure.
As a number 5 starter, like, I think I would have rather rolled with him than risking Hicks. Because after that, they really don't have much in the minors.
It's just
at least not that's close to contributing.
It just seems like way too big of a risk for me. The risk reward here, I don't think is as big as the Cardinals think it is. I think best case scenario, he's a good but not great starter. Unless his changeup got 20 times better this offseason, and I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of Jordan Hicks this spring, so I have no idea what he's throwing, what he looks like.
He didn't have a great spring. He's one of those guys, too. He never struck out nearly as many guys as he should have. when you throw that hard with that much movement,
Yeah, no, you should average like 12 strikeouts per 9 innings.
and he averages like 8. So I don't think that fares well either.
No, well, it's going to be interesting. That's for damn sure. I mean, it's what they decided to do, whether it's the right move or not. Now you've got me questioning Dan Plesac. So thank you for that.
I love Plesac, and I usually agree with a lot of the things he says about pitching because I think he's a great analyst for pitching.
Yeah, well, he was a great pitcher, so
yeah.
I would hope so.
Yeah,
it's amazing that, like, and this is one thing, it's completely not related, or kind of, but like when they would hire like ex pitchers to be like pitching coaches, these guys like Dave Island. Like, I remember Dave Island. He was a shitty pitcher for the Yankees when I was growing up. He was terrible. And like he's coaching pitchers for what? To be what? Mediocre back end starters?
Yeah.
You know, like I never understood that. Never got that. Yeah, Dan Plesac, who's what's this? Trade. We've got a trade.
Oh, breaking news. Who's this? Who's reporting this?
The Toronto MLB Network. You just took it off the screen, you bastards. Now I gotta pull it.
Toronto. Passon is tweeting about it.
I'm sure he is. It was Toronto and Cleveland made a deal.
He's not.
It is Bradley Zimmer to the Blue Jays. Did you find it? There it is. Yeah, Bradley Zimmer to the Blue Jays for right-handed pitcher Anthony Castro.
Okay. I don't know.
Still, it's it was
breaking news.
I see trade pop up on the screen. I get excited. My eyes get big.
Yeah, Bradley Zimmer's something. He's a great defender, speedy.
He's another, I mean, it doesn't make all that much sense to me unless they would just wanted him for organizational depth, only because they went out and traded, because they went out and traded for, Ramel Tapia earlier. In the offseason. They're kind of similar.
Yeah. They're rather similar players.
I mean,
Zimmer's a better defender.
And Tapia is the better overall player.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Zimmer, I never understood why he was never the guy that everyone thought he was going to be. I mean, he was supposed to be the center of that outfield for years.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Guardians had Zimmer and Clint Frazier coming up at like the same time.
Yeah, and then you throw, and then Oscar Mercado was supposed to be good.
Yeah, and that outfield was supposed to be stacked, and now it's one of the worst in baseball.
Yeah, now it's Mercado and 2 other guys.
Yeah,
pretty much. Maybe that's what Ernie Clement's playing. I don't know. I don't pay enough attention to that team to know. But
Ernie Clement.
It's
just from Rochester.
Of course it is.
I didn't know that.
So it looks like you will be going to watch Bradley Zimmer play some baseball. Who's Cleveland's outfield now? Because now I need to look.
It doesn't even. He's a professional baseball utility player, Ernie Clement. So I guess they can throw him in the outfield.
He's an infield outfielder according to roster resource.
Perfect.
But the Indians are rolling with Miles Straw, Ahmed Rosario, who's just a mediocre shortstop, and Stephen Kwan is the right fielder. I have no idea who he is. He's the number 3 prospect in their system. He's number 58 overall. Okay. Apparently he's a real player.
Oh, that's something. I didn't know that.
I'm usually pretty good with my prospects, and I have to say I never heard of Stephen Kwan before right now. They've got Mercado as part of, he's in a platoon. That's it. Their entire outfield's a platoon.
Oh, great.
Except for Miles Straw. Yeah, it looks like their whole outfield's a platoon. So they've got Mercado, they've got Owen Miller, they've got Ernie Clement, they've got Kwan, Rosario, and Straw, and it looks like they're just going to kind of rotate all those guys. So Good for you, Cleveland. Good for you. You got another guy who you won't know what to do with.
What a joke. What a joke of an organization they've turned into.
Yeah, they really have been. But at least they have Jose Ramirez, so something. It's better than nothing, I suppose.
Important update. Max Fried is still good.
That's excellent, excellent news. Top-notch reporting, Mr. Rollins.
I just went over to Twitter to see if there was anything else, and I saw Pitching Ninja. And when I see Pitching Ninja Max Fried curveball, it's automatic watch.
Did you happen to see that Mr. Ninja created his own opening day feud this morning on Twitter?
I did not.
Oh, this was hysterical. He blocked Codify Baseball. And
Really?
Codify tweeted, sent out a screenshot, and he's like, "I knew this day would come." And then Mr. Ninja replied, "He's like, nah." He's like, "I just needed He's like, "I needed some, something before the first pitch." He's like, "So I created my own feud."
He also, and then later in the day, they're quote tweeting each other.
Oh yeah, no, he unblocked them.
Yeah,
he unblocked them, but I laughed. I was laughing. I was just like, "That's hysterical."
Yeah, that is funny.
So yeah, 17 swinging strikes for Kyle Hendricks. That's insane.
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
Something he doesn't normally do. Usually takes him 4 starts to get that number.
Oh, good. I hear the heavy stuff is coming down now. This should be an interesting night.
Oh no.
No, they said thunderstorms, lightning, chaos this evening. So, yeah, no, it was the drizzle that got the other half of my place.
Oh, we're already getting on ESPN. I've got the Reds Braves game on here. We're already getting the pictures of Matt Olson in high school just outside of Atlanta.
Oh, jeez, here we go. And that's funny. On MLB Network, they're interviewing Freddie Freeman.
Oh. Olson just struck out in his first Braves at bat.
Oh, they're gonna boo him out of the stadium.
He's dead.
I can't wait for I can't wait for the 7th inning stretch where they trot out his 3rd grade math teacher.
Sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Yeah, Matt, can you join Mrs. Schmidt at the microphone, please?
Oh, we've got one of my favorite threads of the year has been started.
Oh, which one?
The baseball quote, "Wait, he's on that team" thread.
Here we go.
So Milwaukee Brewer Andrew McCutchen, Milwaukee Brewer Hunter Renfroe, Chicago Cub Mike Knapp. He's the first base coach for the Cubs.
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
Oh, I had no idea.
Oh yeah, he's the first base coach for the Cubs.
Good for Knapp. I love Knapp. These two back to back is hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, because if you were an alien landing on this planet and saw those two things, you'd be like, "What year is it?"
Yeah, in the year of our Lord 2022. Pulo still looks great in that Cardinals uniform.
Yeah, he does, and he got a standing ovation his first at bat, as he should.
Yeah, I didn't even check. Did he get a hit today?
I don't know.
He went 0 for 5, but he didn't strike out, so he was putting the ball in play. Just probably grounded it to the center fielder and got thrown out at first.
No, I saw one fly ball out for sure.
Oh, okay.
But I was only half watching the game, so I can't speak to what the rest of his at bats look like.
Mm-hmm.
But if he didn't strike out, then that's a plus.
Yeah, and man, when he hits that first home run back in Busch Stadium,
they're gonna rip the arch down.
Yeah, it's gonna be like. It's going to be like when Aaron broke the home run record. People are going to be running out onto the field.
People are absolutely going to lose their minds.
Yeah.
And it's like, you realize he's probably going to do this 20 more times this year.
I hope he gets to 700 so bad.
Yeah, that's going to be tough.
What is he, 28 away?
Yeah, I don't know if he's got 28 in him.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, if he's going to be the full-time DH, there's a shot. Because all he has to do is get hot,
Oh no, he's 21 away.
Oh, it's only 21. He might get there then. He definitely might.
Yeah, he's got a shot at that. Yeah, like you said, especially as a full-time DH in 109 games last year, he had 17. Remember when he got traded to the Dodgers and like became good again? That was weird.
Yeah, that was kind of he was good for like a week and a half, and then he went back to just being like, okay, yeah,
I
he
mean,
might.
he,
I mean,
he
he wasn't
slugged
terrible.
460 with the Dodgers. He
I mean,
was
he was better with them than he was with the
yeah.
Angels. That's for sure. But I mean, he still. I mean, it wasn't Pujols. Anyone who thinks they're getting like prime Albert
Oh
Pujols
God,
back,
no.
like that guy's long gone.
Yeah.
Like that guy is long gone. Crap.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Pujol's baseball reference page right now. It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to look at this. Oh, you idiot! I thought it was the guys that live upstairs texted me, so I'm thinking like, oh shit, like they've got a leak or something happened.
Yeah.
And he's just like, can you explain total bases to me? I don't get it.
Oh my.
It was like, really, like, come on, guy, be better, Keith.
A single is 1, a double is 2.
I've explained this to him like at least 6 times.
I've been
It's not hard.
Yeah, it's total bases is one of the easier statistics to remember what it is.
You count 1, 2, 3, 4. How many of the little white boxes did you step on? It's really not that difficult. My brand new nephew could have figured it out himself. And I don't even think he's opened his eyes.
Oh, wait a minute. This is big news. The Savannah Bananas games are going to be broadcast on ESPN Plus.
Thank you. The Savannah Bananas might be the greatest thing that has happened to baseball ever.
I agree. They're fantastic. Yeah, there is.
I'm choking on my joy right now.
Bill the Spaceman Lee pitches for the Bananas.
He came out of the stands drinking a beer and then put it on the mound and threw a pitch.
He struck a guy out.
Yes, he did. And it made him look kind of stupid. This team has so much fucking fun. It should be illegal.
Oh my God. I'm so excited for this.
Like, I've driven through Georgia. I've never actually been to Georgia. I would go to Georgia to watch this team play.
Oh, absolutely.
Just to see what this is like in person.
That's a bucket list thing for sure, is to go to a Bananas game.
Like, if anyone out there has not looked into what the Savannah Bananas are all about, I mean, do not pass this up.
No.
This is like, if Rob Manfred had any brains whatsoever, he would hire everyone associated with this team to market the game.
Just make them a team. We can have 31 teams and one of them is significantly worse than everyone else. You think they would care if they went 0-162? I don't think they would care.
Wear it like a badge.
Yeah.
They'd be angry if they won that one game.
Yeah.
If they finished 1-161, they'd be so pissed. Like, let them be the Washington Generals to the Harlem Globetrotters.
Absolutely. It would be so fun. Yeah, and Eric Burns is the manager now. It's a whole thing. Oh man, I can't wait to watch that game.
Yeah, no, that's the best news that I've seen in days.
If you're associated with the score 1260 in any way, I certainly will not be watching that game while I'm producing your Mets games on Saturday night. But it's I will be watching that game.
Oh boy, that's exciting. That's great, and I think that's how we should wrap this up on a high note. Because how do we follow up the Savannah freaking Bananas?
You can't.
You can't do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, opening day is upon us. We have already gotten a couple of games under our belt. We've got 161 plus to go. So, we will be back here next Thursday. Same time, same channel.
Oh, yeah.
And we will have more to talk about. And I will be in the right spot, not in the shadows, changing colors.
Not a foot away from your TV.
Oh, I'm blind. I like these glasses. I don't even know I have them on. Like they're not helping. Like I can see up the nose of the people on the television. Like you ever see front row at a movie set?
Oh
Like
yeah.
like in a movie, like I'm closer than that. Like I basically sitting on the floor of the movie theater, staring up at the screen. Like it's not comfortable.
You're standing on a stool direct, like spread eagle directly in front of the screen.
I'm standing right now, and I look like I'm sitting.
Are you really?
No, I'm sitting
Oh,
down.
I was gonna say
I'm too lazy to stand for an hour and a half and do this. Like when I'm on, the score with you guys, sometimes I get up and I'll walk around and I'll get animated
yeah.
and throw crap against my wall because somebody says something that makes me want to scream. Paul, but
it's always Paul.
although I mean, I gotta say, man-child, he outdid himself on Wednesday.
I heard.
Before I got on, he was like the hype man for Joel Embiid, and I was just like, that's an odd profession for a middle-aged radio host in Syracuse.
I thought you were talking about the Blue Jays thing.
Oh, the Blue Jays thing was that was another one, and then Paul trying to get me to absolutely trash like cities that have stadiums. Hey Rick, so which stadiums are on your bucket list to go to, or should be on someone's bucket list to go to? Rattled off a bunch of them. And then Paul's just like, oh, so which stadiums should you absolutely not go to?
Oh, I would have answered on the spot. I would have said Tampa.
I did. I said Tampa, Oakland. I said, but those are the easy ones. So those are layups. I said, now, if you really want to open this Pandora's box, Paul, I'm like, we can go down. We can dig. I said, but I don't know if I'll be back next week or anytime soon. And you may not be either. And he's just like, okay, we're going to pivot to this now. Should have thought about that before I went there. And then I just like, under my breath, I'm just like, San Francisco, the smell, you don't want to bottle it.
Wow.
Like, am I wrong? Like, I believe that they have toilets outside, which is called the street, kind of like the subways in New York City. Like, I don't want to go hang out there to watch a ball game. I'm sorry.
I mean, fair. It's a gorgeous ballpark, but
yeah, I was like, the ballpark looks great. I'm like, but you might get killed going in, or at the very least pooped on, and like, I'm not interested in that. So I'll skip that. No, the ballparks I said you absolutely needed to go to, and tell me if you agree. Fenway, Wrigley, Citi Field, Yankee Stadium. Even though I am a much bigger fan of the old Yankee Stadium.
Yeah,
the new one is more like a museum than a ballpark. PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
Yes, 100%.
Whatever they call the one in San Francisco now.
Oracle.
Is it Oracle? I couldn't tell. I didn't know if it was Oracle or whatever. And Camden Yards, and that was it. That's all I had for the is there any? Oh, and Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, Dodger Stadium,
which I've been to. But I mean, is there any other ballpark that you would say should be on someone's bucket list?
Yeah, I mean, the only two ballparks I've ever been to are Fenway and PNC. But I would say Kauffman Stadium looks beautiful.
Yeah, I should have put Kauffman on there. I heard nothing but phenomenal things about Kauffman.
Yeah. Everything else is just like, I feel like has cool things, but I don't think is like necessarily a bucket list thing. Like I think the Angels Stadium is cool with the rocks out in center field, but it's
like Miller Park is cool with the slide in center field, and Arizona, don't you have the swimming pool in center field? That's all cool and stuff, and it's neat, but it's not.
Busch Stadium's another one for me.
Yes, got a good call. Busch Stadium should go there with Kauffman as well.
I have been there. I didn't see a game there, but I did a tour, and it's gorgeous ballpark. So Busch Stadium's another one I would throw in that conversation. But outside of that, I think pretty much nailed it.
All right. Well, just be mindful of where you are traveling to see a ball game. Be mindful of your surroundings. Be mindful of the time that you hang out outside certain ballparks, like Yankee Stadium. Anyway, thank you for joining us. We will see you again next week.
Yep.
Mark, take us out.
Yeah. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitch. Follow all of us on Twitter. Those are scrolling across the bottom there below. I'm marker_box. He's Rick Wiener NY. And then the show is box_score_pod. Like you said, we'll be back next week. And the Reds just took a 1-0 lead over the Braves.
Wow.
So that's something to look out for. And hey, watch baseball. Baseball's back. We should all be happy, whether it's Major League, minor league, independent ball. Watch the Savannah Bananas on Saturday. But get hyped for this baseball season because Rick and I didn't know when we were going to get it. So it's great to have it back. And we'll see you all next week.
Thanks for watching. Peace.